It's absolutely going to happen, I think. The budget's coming out tomorrow, and immediately after that, we suspect that they might. That's the weekend, and then there's a holiday on Monday. So we think that the government may announce a dissolution on Tuesday.
Interesting. And we understand too that the Prime Minister's having an audience with the King tomorrow, which probably only fuels that speculation.
No, he actually had a meeting with the King just now.
Oh, right.
And, so news are coming in that they did not discuss a dissolution date. But I think there's a lot of political pressure from his own party, the Prime Minister's party, to get an early election done.
And that's something he's sort of been resisting himself. Why so, given they have made some gains, the ruling UMNO party, in recent times?
I think there could be a personal agenda here for the Prime Minister. Understandably, he's been in power for a year and a bit, and he's number 3 in UMNO. He's not the top gun. So if they call an election, his term might come to an end as Prime Minister. So I suppose he wants to buy some time to consolidate his own power within his party.
Yeah. Do you think it would favour the ruling UMNO party to go to an election now?
I think it might, but the opposition has been making a lot of gains in the last 2-3 months. So we would prefer a later election. There are a lot of the component parties inside the government, like Bersatu. They too want a later election. So it's a bit confusing at the moment. There's a lot of internal dispute within the coalition.
Yeah. It sounds, though, that you may have to just face the reality that there is going to be an election. So when you talk about gains that you've made, how could you consolidate that, and what do you think is going to be at play in an election in Malaysia?
Well, I think if it's very close to the budget, then it's going to be an election budget. So tomorrow we're all going to look at the budget itself. We're going to try and analyze it. We're going to look at the issue of subsidies in particular. If the government does not produce a decent enough budget that is people-centric, then that's going to play in our favor. Yeah. So I think that's going to be the big issue.
But you would expect that this budget is going to address some of the cost of living issues that many Malaysians are facing.
Yes, of course, but we are very, very certain that, with the global economic climate at the moment, next year is going to be much tougher for everybody, including Australia and the rest of the world. So therefore, the government revenue will be crimped, and it will be limited. So how can they then produce a budget that helps people on subsidy level when they themselves are facing operational issue and also limited funds for the budget?
So would you in the opposition not be proposing some level of subsidy and cushioning effect for people with cost of living?
Yes, we would. But I think the main issue in Malaysia has always been about governance. It's about corruption, no open tenders, procurement being very shoddily done. So if we are the government, we will definitely clean up most of these things and therefore release extra 10, 20 billion even for the subsidy programs that we want to help the people with.
Yeah, interesting. When you talk about cleaning up corruption, and of course UMNO has been seriously stained by Najib Razak, who is now in jail, there would be some concern, I imagine, among Malaysians that they would, if re-elected, release him.
I think a release for Prime Minister Najib, or former Prime Minister Najib, is going to be very difficult. There is a pardon system, but I think the public will not accept an early pardon. He will have to serve at least, in my estimation, 3 to 5 years before any form of pardon is considered for him.
Very interesting times. Well, great to have you on. We'll watch with interest and no doubt talk again if there is an election.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.